Just so you know, my name is Madison. This is DJ Starstruck. Please give it up. Tonight is also a very important night because tonight is the 4-year anniversary of the Bakery Slam. And give it up for yourselves. Thank you for coming and supporting such a great venue time and time again. Thank you guys. First up for the open mic, we have Kenny Copeland. Please give a round of applause.
If love was linguistics, I learned to speak it through her. At second glance, she became my first love. Still, we had a problem. I loved her. But the problem was that even though we knew each other, we didn't really know each other. See, she became my first love, but still, the conversation was wrong. See, I knew her, but I loved her, but I didn't really know her. And when I talked to her, it became strange. It became real. And that's the problem. When it becomes real, it becomes fake. And when it becomes fake, you don't know what to do. So the problem was this. At second glance, she became my first love. Still, I didn't know her. And the problem was this. When you don't know somebody, you try to know them to a second degree, but the problem is, you don't really know them in the real. So it took mad skills, and it gave me chills. But to this girl, I still don't know her, but I still love her. And the problem is, even though I did know her, she knew me to a T. She knew me all other letters. She knew me in a way that I only knew myself only one time. And here's where it went bad. See, I looked at her eyes and I saw his face. I looked at her eyes and I saw things that I never would have seen before because this man took the language that was uniquely ours. She gave him a pin to his heart and wrote new chapters, but he didn't know his story like I do. She was a slut. I'm sorry, I loved her. But see, the problem was, we had developed our own language, the language of love. Yet she gave that same pin to somebody else and wrote new chapters in her heart, and it broke mine. And so still in time, I hope to know her better. But even still, I don't know what will happen because she will always be my first love, always be my first love. But no, she'll never give me a second try. Thank you.
Next up tonight, we have a wonderful man. Please give it up loud and proud for the Saint.
She nervously picks up her phone on her way out the door. Palms dripping with wet anxiety, she's been waiting for this call seemingly her whole life. As she's getting her results, her face contorts into a mask trying to show the pain resonating on the outside. Her lungs tighten, asphyxiating the hope she used to have. Women's intuition told her that something was wrong with her body, but she never thought it was capable of being this judgmental. The verdict was in. Inflammatory breast cancer. Those 3 words hit like shots in an innocent person's back. Why me? Whispered from her lips. Claustrophobia hugged her like an itchy blanket. All she could do was run, thinking she could escape her diagnosis, but this nightmare was real. See, the special type of cancer affects less than 5% of those who will receive the disease. It's predominantly found in women of color and has shark-like aggression, meaning once it is detected, it may already be too late. How did she get so lucky? She shuffles to the doctor's office hoping to find a glimmer of optimism, but discovers none. He tells her that she has less than a 50% chance of survival, that it would probably be a waste of resources to receive treatment because what is the use of holding on to a possibility? As she walks out of the room, numb and frostbitten from the cold words that just passed retribution on her life, she is reminded that she is not alone. Not only is she supported by the man who has known her for over 25 years, but she's also comforted by the man who has known her before the foundation of this work. Her heart begins to cry out behind the damaged flesh. Prayers go up in the fetal position. Chemotherapy starts. See, this process kills both bad and good cells, but when your health is locked in a cage, there's no such thing as bad and good cells. So she perseveres. Fatigue settles in like an uninvited guest. Needles become family members. She loses all the hair on her head, but never loses all the faith in her God. It's now time to operate. And take away the life preserver that's underneath her skin. Can you imagine losing the very part of your anatomy that defines your womanhood? Being a mother and having your child's lifeline removed from its rightful place. Separation anxiety sets in momentarily until she realizes that no matter what she looks like, she is still fearfully and wonderfully made, that her feminine identity was never in jeopardy, nor was her will to stay alive. The way I see it is God just wanted to have a clear path to truly touch her heart. Gina Marie Joppa overcame her infectious adversary and lived each moment in healed satisfaction. She's a testimony that when life has altered its course, if you take your direction from the sky, you will always make it to the end of your journey.
Next up, we have Cheyenne.
On the things I have been thinking about after the after. 1. I taught myself how to quiet this bellow into whisper, told myself that you were worth all of the silent falling, that I should have turned myself into anything for our kind of love, even if anything meant voiceless too. I am just learning how to be honest in my poetry again. I don't really know if this has anything to do with you, but maybe your absence is bridging the gap between me and my truth. I am learning that I am more than I told myself I could be. 3. I was taught that I am an ocean of guilt. You, my moonlit shore. I am learning that sometimes love is not enough, that regardless of the necessity, I will always be pulled back by my thoughtless currents. There will always be parts of you that I will never get to touch. 4. The 3rd time I told you that everybody leaves. You did not console me with I will nevers. Instead, you told me to be better to myself, to stop relying on others for love. This is when I knew you were not in this the same way that I was, that I might still be. 5. I cleaned out my closet yesterday. Your smell is anchored to everything. Your sister's wedding invitation burning holes into my okay. Movie tickets, receipts, how we both held my brother for the first time on the same day. You are built from all of these intricate bricks, and I am tying all of you around my ankles. None of this is a metaphor anymore.
All right, now to the stage, we have Alex Salazar.
So I recently met up with this girl at Starbucks for a study date. Now, of course I got the studying done before so I could focus on the date part, and to my surprise she did the same. Anyways, about an hour in, we were surfing the internet with apple, pastries, and a couple of mochas. And she was trying to inform me of the wonders of toxicology. It's a branch of medicine, something in biology, and she was telling me how one certain molecule could wipe out all of Los Angeles, and I couldn't handle it, so I said stop, then proceeded to close her laptop. She smiled, straightened her back up, and said, "You have my undivided attention." Now, I rehearsed this part of the date a few times. I even prepped a few rhymes, but never with those gleaming eyes, innocently awaiting my next move. I mean, hell, I couldn't even speak through body language. I was just so fixed on the outlinings of her cornea, and I don't mean to be corny, but it was magical like Narnia, and I, her warrior, rhetorical strategies couldn't exemplify the euphoria wearing a fedora, quoting Bruno Mars lyrics, waving my white flag because I am your willing victim, so inject me with your venom until I lose balance, and then I heard a voice in my head scream, "Alex, Alex, Alex." Sorry, I just got lost in your eyes for a second. And this is the part of the poem where the girls start to awe and the guys start to yawn, and I begin to engage in a meaningful conversation with this girl I'm on a study date with. She was gorgeous, but more important, she was well-spoken. Word on the street where she graduated with a GPA of 4.3-time MVP for her school soccer league of her own. She even has aspirations of graduating summa cum laude. And then she asked me, "What are your goals?" So I told her, I want every poet, every Emily Dickinson to be addicted to my diction, obsessed with this poetry, true stories of this fiction, contradiction, thoughts of sinning, and yet she was a Christian, and not just because it rhymed. She really was a Christian. I was just waiting for that right moment, and while we wait, let me paint this picture of this elegant yet eloquent girl I'm on a study date with. She had this deep lemon-colored hair, these atmospheric blue eyes. Her lips were like Christmas and her body was like Easter. I was trying to put all my eggs in her basket, and that's not a sexual metaphor. But her body was a wonderland, and I wanted to be John Mayer of her city. And she didn't talk that much, but I enjoy the simplicity. And I know this goes without saying, but girl, you are the one that I adore. And then some guy walked through the door and she turned to me and said, hey, my boyfriend's here, I gotta go.
Coming up to the stage right now, we have Crystal. Give it up for her.
I'm Crystal Salas. This is a poem about eggs. Basket. You will marry the first person who tells you your eyes look like scrambled eggs. Frank O'Hara made the premonition, and it probably doesn't apply to us because you've never said that to me about my eyes. It definitely doesn't, because a lot of other things have been named about my eyes, especially regarding what I see through them. But we have spent a lot of time speaking of eggs. You told me you cried in Poland because no one in all of the country would cook over easy eggs for you because it was a health hazard. I laughed and said I cared about your predicament deeply. You said, of course I do. I'm a woman, and of course I care about eggs, supported by an anatomy lesson. I laughed because you're stupid. I have the tendency to say something is stupid when I like it too much for myself. In this case, you say a lot of pretty and stupid things. You care about eggs, too. You keep them in cratefuls on your kitchen table, but you live alone. I don't have a preference for my breakfast eggs. I enjoy things about all of the possibilities. Scrambled the way my Ita makes them, over easy because I like to play with my food, poached because Eggs Benedict is not a joke to me.
Word. That's right.
I went to Tijuana last month with my grandfather. We went to Applebee's for breakfast because I think he has trust issues with the food of his people. I think I do too. But I wasn't hungry anyway because we were at Applebee's. We ordered a dish I had never heard of before called huevos divorciados, which translates directly to divorced eggs. One sunny side up yolk sitting in a pool of red salsa, next to it a yolk sitting in a pool of green salsa, both yolks still intact, apart. The primary colors never mix unless provoked with a fork, and then the yellow is punctured, causing chaos, running all over the plate, catalyzing the taste of depth, but then they didn't need to burst for that to happen, did they? Their islands just needed to intersect to know what was inside of them was the same. Thank you.
On stage right now is another beautiful, beautiful human being. Please give it up for Edwin Oddly. Yeah!
7 Layers of Hell, after Sierra de Mulder.
Nice.
The first is 50 damp hands of people I do not know fondling my ears. The second is a flood of unidentified spiders and I am trapped in a short house of mirrors. The third is James Baldwin reading poems on race and sexuality while the KKK sings America the Beautiful over him. The fourth is a photograph of the boy who got away, with his husband who looks somewhat like me, and 2 laughing children who do not. On the 5th floor sits 2 chairs. In one, my father's brother, naked, erect, and drooling. The other, my last lover, holding clenched fists strapped with brass knuckles, both of the men I have been assaulted by, staring, waiting for me to run. The 6th is my mother and father, bound to 2 creaky rockers on the 1st floor of my home for the rest of their lives. As I nurse them daily, they throw single-dollar bills at my feet.
Oh my God.
The The seventh, the final floor, the one that will certainly chain my wrists around the devil's neck, the one that will burn me slowly from the shoulders down, is the hospital my grandmother spent their last day in. Their rooms are directly ahead of me. They are both calling out my name. The elevator is made entirely of glass, but the doors, they do not open.
Please give it up for the beautiful Lady Mary.
It was the first time I killed a man when I understood what I was capable of.
Yes.
It lit its potential in the shadow of my ego as I stood over him, with the sticky of gore and emotion on my hands. A cry only weather can trigger now. I remember him distracted by the sway in my palms and the bat of my lashes. He couldn't catch the root of my strangle. I stopped letting him learn from me. I rejected his sweet and teased him with honey. I was 2 parts, not listening. The rest, 86ing the journey he thought he was leading. I was circus with how good I was at knowing what I was doing. I drained the hope from his heart while I made him write me poems I didn't read. Made him keep them for himself to always remember I was the one that got away. I was ringmaster with an empty finger. I made habit of beating selfish into fun and gave him an iron jaw. He would love like metal now, common, needing to lean on someone in order to stay warm. I broke his frame. I dropped a few screws, then watched myself mentor his recovery while keeping his fragility loose. I let him fortune me and never famed him. Instead, I wrangled him into a cage of understanding and covered it with a quilt of his fears to keep him quiet and unaware of the others. I made my moves for my counter moves and never made a mistake. I forced his secrets to chew through my promises and enjoy the pain. I was a bouquet of thorns collecting beds of petals I never laid in, then bent his backbone into pollen to introduce him to the pivot. In my leave, I premeditated his grief, walked away and welcomed his misery, removed trust from the equation and took all signs of love with me, and still he'd return to pay visits and attention to things I made so delightful and confusing. I used my words to kiss and fingers to lick. I was lightning in a climax. I was an interesting mix of fact and fantasy. I was unmerciful. Victim was no accident. I saved his life before I took it. And all I can do is smile as I stand over him, letting these clouds form a new day, reminded he was just the first to lose in my arena. Isn't it different to hear the beast tell a story? There is nothing beauty about me.
All right, so let me explain to you how this goes. So basically, we're gonna have 3 rounds. Each poet will go up in the round. We're gonna drop the bottom 2 for the second round, and for the third round as well. So the third round will just be 3 slammers. Each poet gets 3 minutes up here, and then they have a 10-minute grace period. After that grace period, they will be penalized. Are we ready to start the slam? Give it up, loud and proud, beautiful, Jessica.
I remember the third night we spent together. I was on my knees with a mouthful of you when you asked if I would be willing to do this for other men, if I would let you charge them for my pretty little mouth. I did not say a word. I did not pull you out of me. I closed my eyes. I held my breath. I swallowed you when you came. We never spoke of it again. The 5th night, you asked if you could put on some porn while we made love. I said I didn't mind, but I watched your face as you stared at the screen. You didn't look at me that way. You didn't look at me at all. I began numbering the times you called me beautiful. I hardly had anything to count. On the 11th night, you said you needed me to come over and keep your loneliness at bay. We sat on opposite ends of your couch. We didn't speak for hours. Finally, I leaned over and ran my finger down your shoulder. You shrugged me off while texting someone else. I walked to the bathroom, closed the door, ran the water while I sobbed. When I returned, you said you needed money. I offered to give you anything you'd like just to turn you human again. Then you kissed me, softly, slowly, and I held my breath for days. Then came the flood. The part where I forgot I do not know how to swim, how to dive into a man and come back up for air. The nights I sawed off my hands and left them on your lap. The nights I unhinged my jaw, swallowed my feet, turned myself inside out. The night you named me clingy, called me lazy, and I forgave it all because you kissed me and I became steam seeping through the floorboards because in the dark, I own you now, you are mine. Sounds a lot like I love you and I refuse to give you up. I made up excuses to stay. I knew that I wasn't supposed to be anything but grateful. It was our arrangement when I tried to buy your love with both my wallet and my mouth, but when I finally threatened to leave, you said that I had become too complicated, that I had stopped being fun, that anybody will be happy to take my place, that I should go find myself, that you had been nothing but a perfect gentleman, that if I needed to write a poem to get over you, I could. And that's when I understood why some women light shit on fire. It isn't about getting someone to come back. It is about realizing who I was when I let you stay, needed to be burned down to the ground, like that third night we spent together, when I was on my knees with a mouthful of you. I should have bit down. I should have turned this pretty little mouth into a blowtorch. I should have left you as a pile of ash, as a reminder to myself of who I can become the second I don't leave, when I see smoke disguised as a man.
The score for that poet is a 27.2. Give it up for her again. So, judges, remember, that is your marker. From now on, if a poet is better than that, you rate it higher. If it's not better than that, you rate it lower. All right, is everybody ready? Yeah! All right, first up to the stage, we have Sophia Lynn.
After filling my gut with every razor blade fear and pill bottle demon that I could to Holocaust hopscotch my 16 years into fatality, vomit and apology crawled tooth and nail back out of me 2 nights and 2 hospitals later. My doctor pressed cold stethoscope gaze to my pain and asked, "So, what does your depression feel like?" "Well, Doc, it's a lot of folding. You remember a time before the shatter, that letter you wrote to yourself when you were 8 years old? Dear Sophia, are you getting straight A's? Have you applied to Harvard yet? Good luck with that internship at the Birch Aquarium. Mrs. Watson says that becoming a marine biologist is hard work. Oh, by the way, don't smoke. Your hair will smell and your lungs will shrivel up and you don't want wrinkles, do you?" What would a letter to your 8-year-old self read like? "Dear little Sophia, as it turns out, dreams are a lot like mirrors. You stare into them, picking apart every detail and molding it with your mind until you create something beautiful, perfect, but then life does that thing where it curves fastballs into your favorite alternate universe until it's no longer staring back at you. You pick up the shards that haven't splintered completely and try to puzzle piece them all together, but seamless happy endings are going to turn into seamless push-up bras, and nicotine tastes a lot better than disappointment on the tongue. You remember Cousin Steve with breath as stained as the fingers on his smoking hand, and how he drank himself to death because his wife drank herself to death, and he told you that she wanted a daughter just like you. How could she want a daughter just like you when you could barely get out of bed to face the world this morning? You remember how you were a hurricane before you learned to hate the letters P, H, and D particularly together, before you were swallowing too many pills. There isn't enough room in your larynx to gulp down your bad behaviors. You remember what the microscopic spider webs looked like woven down the lily of the valleys on your windowsill, and the rainbow catcher that could paint magic on your hands. Remember how crystals could give you fairy wings and you'd zigzag with the butterflies. You'd never stop laughing. And then you pause and realize you're sitting in a sterilized white box in a blue plastic chair, which is impossibly more comfortable than once you plant your ass in for high school, which you never thought you'd miss until there were literal bars on the windows and your best friend burned a cat and you're vicariously reliving your childhood out loud to a half-wit. You're more than half the age of, fresh out of grad school and nodding every 6 seconds. It's a lot of folding. That, doctor, is what my depression feels like. Thank you.
All right, the score for that poet is a 25.8. Next up, we have Camera Blue.
When you stumble on your ex's Instagram, first acknowledge that you didn't stumble onto it. You looked for it. You searched for it. You trolled your friends' followers and found it.
Yes.
When you get there, don't examine the pictures. Don't look at all 576 photos. Give yourself a mental time clock. No more than just a few minutes. And do not double tap. Be careful. Be very careful with the videos. Don't read the comments. Do not read the comments. Don't figure out who his girlfriend is.
Okay.
Don't go to her page. Oh my God, don't go to her page. She looks like you. You when you were in your 20s. You before the kids. The you were when you were with him. Get off her page. Don't follow her. Even if her art is beautiful, and even if you like her music or her hair or whatever it is that makes you follow people, don't follow her. Get off her page. You have matured. He was your childhood. He was a child. She has no clue. He is the same age he was 12 years ago, so don't compare. You are right now, this moment, you are alive and living in the now. Take a selfie. And post it. Hashtag 40 is the new 20. Hashtag grown and sexy. Hashtag married life. Hashtag hella milfy. And tag your husband. And when you see your ex's girlfriend out in public, act like you don't recognize her. Because you don't know her. Stay focused, keep calm, sip your tea. When your ex likes 7 of your pictures on Facebook, don't read into it. Remember algorithm? You have 222 mutual friends. It's probably just showed up on his timeline. It's only a like, not a comment. Don't go to his page. You just posted that picture. He wasn't trolling. Don't go to his page. So when you get to his page, laugh at how he hasn't changed. Giggle at how he's still doing the exact same shit he was doing when he was with you. Don't comment. Don't like. Don't post passive-aggressive inside jokes about his failing life. I mean, just in general, don't do that. Remember, you're a lady, not a girl. Don't post about how you're grown, and don't post about how loyal you are. Don't post about real friends and real bitches and you're a bae. Nothing on the internet is private. Clear your search history.
Yeah.
Clear your cache. And call your girlfriend, who still has the password to her ex-boyfriend's email for over 10 years. She will definitely understand.
We're going to give you that story in just a moment. We're going to do the next one when they do that score. Just to let you know, there's a little bit of time deduction. Next up, we have, please give it up for Alicia Wire.
Things I tell myself about my skin. I like it this way. Remember that time I questioned why God molded me out of tar and sky? Me neither. Remember that time I met that girl who thought bleach would lighten all the burdens off her back? Me too. We too often educated by fools. A fool will say, your skin does not make you a god. Well, my belief in it certainly does. Yeah. My black is a boastful believer. My blackness is a silent scripture. It is all these workshops to all these children about all this self-love, even when I tumble out feeling all this helpless. Like the best way to teach a dark child how to love themselves is to be a walking example of a dark woman who loves herself. I am still walking. My feet have not tired today. Some boys call you chocolate. Some boys think you cake they can drool over then devour. Some boys don't think at all. Some back door, some exotic pond they can dip in only when it's warm enough. They always want you warm enough. Like a black woman don't got enough cause to get cold sometime. Think the darker you are, the more you growl, the more you suck. The darker you are, the more you know how to spread those hips. Things I tell myself about my hips. in the mirror every day, I swear my mama they're gonna eventually balloon on their own. You've been skinny for a long time. They say real black women supposed to be more equipped, need to prove she got something he may wanna hold on to. I grew up in a city where all the guys whistled at all the girls who ain't look like little girls no more. So I started walking like a woman on purpose. He chased me down an alley with a glass bottle, all because I said no. So I stopped walking like a woman on purpose. I bought you some waist beats today. You are worthy of gifts. You are worthy of her hips large enough to swallow your own. You are worthy of his working hands gripping onto your curves. You are allowed to call them curves. You are allowed to call them what you want to. See your body the way you want to. Tell them that if this here ain't black and woman enough, well, my black and woman enough body just don't want you. Then roll your eyes. After all, these eyes got reasons. These eyes have grown weary of avoiding an image that's just trying to find its light in a world trying to block it. Bitter people don't like the good fruit. They'll call you names until you catch them. Have you think that you are half of the whole that you are? Like I ain't been right for a long time. Like I ain't worthy to be touched with the lights on. With somebody seeing all this skinny as succulent and sister at the same time. Without having to pretend I am anything less than deep rooted. Without having to peel back the skin for you. I am not here for the non-believers. I am not here for those who cringe when they see me seeing all of myself. This bodily prayer is strictly between my sight and the sun and all the good folk who enter the presence of this church with no other words on their tongue but amen.
The score for that roll was 28.7. And for the last round was after a time deduction, it was a 20.5. All right. Next up, get ready to clap. We have Nikki Black.
White America does not want to see a zombie apocalypse. Does not want to see the ground become a wound and swallow all that is above it, spilling its rotting contents of walking corpses. Native American burial grounds trampled beneath your steel and prefab construction, under gated communities below your schools, beneath your churches, your havens, your exclusive places, churning with reanimated bones of a million tribes disrespected, pouring into your homes, ascending your stairways, ambling through your foyers, loitering in your family rooms and your lovely kitchens. Littering your floors with flecks of decay, come to cannibalize your precious white children, here to colonize your cul-de-sacs and idyllic tree-lined streets, here to ransack your guts, approaching to introduce you to these teeth white America does not want to see. A hunger that cannot be reasoned with. A hunger that cannot be fire-hosed, a hunger that will eat a dog, a primal instinct that will not be corralled by law, a primal instinct that cannot be intimidated, a primal instinct that cannot be tasered, an anger that cannot be choked out, an anger that cannot be tear-gassed, an anger that cannot be imprisoned, an agenda that cannot be miseducated, an agenda that cannot be dissuaded by propaganda, an agenda that will not be satiated by any offering other than blood. When the dead have arisen and you're responsible for their condition, oh, America, the raw, pulsating fear. White America does not want to see black boys murdered, returning in droves. Doesn't want to see that strange fruit climbing down from the branches of the poplar. Doesn't want to meet strength that will not diminish. Groaning mobs, looting flesh, hulks at your driver's side doors, wrestling your firearms from you, wrestling your appendages from your torsos. You don't want to see these demons revitalized by your bullets, absorbing everything you can unload, absorbing all the lethal force your police departments deem reasonable. White America, you don't want to encounter something unreasonable, an event impossible, an army unnatural. When the dead have risen and you're responsible for their condition, oh America, the raw, pulsating terror. You see the error of your ways now as the meat is being stripped from your bones. You see how stealing is wrong only after your homes have been invaded by skeletons breaking closet doors off their hinges. You see how it feels to be murdered, to be devoured by something you can't control, to be ripped apart, to be gulped whole, to be erased from the earth and have no one remaining to mourn for you. White America doesn't want to see Lower Manhattan's dead Africans, a forest of 1,000 rotting arms erupting from the ground, pulling tall buildings down as they reach. All these box cutter claws came to crash your buildings. All these putrefied slave remains come to occupy Wall Street. All these bloated Atlantic bodies thirsty to replace the salt water in their veins with the river of your arteries. Bread from your entrails, from backyard to graveyard, your body a paintbrush they will use to mural the town. The town is red and burning down around you. And white America does not want to see. Hopefully, the dead will have the courtesy to remove your eyes from your head before they die.
The score for that vote was 26.5. Next up to the stage, we have Jasmine Williams.
I faced a bully inside of a dressing room. I was trying on a dress when I caught her staring me down eye to eye, toe to toe. I would have said I was shaking my boots, but I wasn't wearing any because I was naked. But I spoke first. Conviction daring in my voice, I will love myself today. No more hiding behind mirrors. I used to hide myself from myself. I said, look, I'm done with the shenanigans. This is my time to be seen. I said, I will start loving these scars and burns. They're not evidence of how I am ruined, but a reminder of where I have been. I still have far to go. I said, I will love this left pinky toe with the missing toenail. A reminder that furniture will not move out of the way from me in the dark. No more living in the dark. No more loving in the dark. I'm going to love myself naked in full sunlight, bright and bold. The moles are the connect the dots. The X mark the spots that I have arrived, of how this shell was a custom designed one of a kind for me. These marks are the roads and guidelines to smooth curves, thighs, hand gripping hips, full soft lips, both sets, this skin be smooth. It's all brown sugar, is addicting. You see, I have finally found myself. And I don't have one plan on getting lost. So the man that I choose to spend the rest of my life with, well, he better know how to read a map. And he better be good at it. This birthmark on the side of my hip is a yellow brick road that was once less traveled. My heart is a compass. I used to end up south of nowhere on cold floors. I clicked my feet 3 times to find home, and I made it back here, naked, in this body, loving it in full. My cup's running over all the time. No more downsizing double D. I said, look, I will slap the shit out of you with this left titty if need be, bully, so you better stay on my level. My heart, my soul, my mind, my body, it all belongs to me. You see, I forgot that I belong to me. I'm not confined to your words anymore. No, not fat, not ugly, not good enough. I am more than enough, especially bare and naked. I will love naked, cook naked, dance naked, drive naked, cry naked. I wrote this piece butt ass naked. Bare, all the mask, insecurity, you are not bully anymore. And I just look at it all like, what's up? I look at that familiar face staring back at me. Put my clothes back on, smiled so gracefully, and politely excused myself from that dressing room.
That score is 28.3. All right, we're almost to the end of the round. We have 2 votes left. So next up, clap it up for Succinct.
When she looks up at you, as if to ask how beautiful she is, do not change the topic to the dishes left in the sink. Do not run out of the door towards all the lies you told, wishing they were true. Apologize to her for ripping the womanhood out of her chest and coddle her pride as if it were your dying child. You see, women, we hide the scars and stretch marks, hide time beneath our dresses, carry hundreds of years and names in our bellies, love slow like Cuban cigars and cocktails, love you fast as if spontaneity grew in our skin. We love like old grandfather clocks. We are faithful. We color loves like you. Careful to not let red blood stains and blues of hearts smear the pages. Careful to not let pinks and yellows spill from outside thick black lines. We stay in line for you. To tell us we are perfectly painted pictures, neatly put together, praying you will never leave us. Because you have seen how hard it is to keep hold of all of this sand and salt, and how amazing we managed to hold it all in and give like this, over soul, hand, and foot, swollen hearts, and bandaged egos. Do not comment on our tattered feathers or mock our clipped wings. Remember, we sacrificed them for you. We will never understand why you lied about where you were when the moon was full. You see, it is not in our nature to understand things that do not sync with our toggle and sway. Do not kiss us. Do not kiss us with a mouth full of honeybees. We do not take well to the sting of unfaithfulness, so pardon her. For every color that flies from her tongue, every grain of salt she spills from her eyes, and for the mess of sand she will collapse in, it is only because she holds on to these things for you when she looks up at you. Ground still and stoic. Apologize for taking the strength of her soul and confusing that shit with your own. Apologize for breaking her glass heart and find every piece and promise to repair it. She needs these things, and you, painted perfectly in line, to exist.
27.2 for that poet. Give it up to poet again. All right, this is the last poet of the first round.
story to minority students as a white teacher.
Okay.
1.
Let's go.
For a minute, the weight of their questions will feel like a crime on the paleness of your skin. When they ask you to explain dead cops and black men, courtrooms and shootings, know there will never be an answer good enough. 2. I know how cowardly silence can feel. There are so many options and all of them are ugly. I will never know the right poetry to place upon these tombstones. 3. I apologize for not knowing the facts. You see, somewhere in my second year of teaching, I stopped watching the evening news. I remember the blue of that Thursday evening as my student's body washed up on a television screen. Bloodied and bloated, a stomach full of bullets, I put hand over mouth as I watched his mother's sentences turn into rivers. Now I leave the TV off. 4. I have learned to say, I don't know. In library quiet, I watch as my students' eyes flicker like overworked candles. I listen as my class becomes a church of exhales. Where is the hell for unjustified bullets? And where is the heaven that forgives the hand that gave them flight? There is no asphalt Jesus coming to save us. It seems that these days every life is a loaded gun. 5. For monsters, there are no red lights. I tell them, be something you're not. Be your own deadbolt. Keep the safety on when talking to cops. You see, sometimes questions can sound like a protest. Sometimes questions can look like a weapon. 6. Give them each a piece of black construction paper and blunted scissors, have them cut snowflake reminders, hang them from ceiling to remind us that cemetery should dance above our heads instead of bury beneath our feet. 7. I say, chain yourself to this riot of holy, be proud of your loud mouth in this ugly battlefield march to peace. It is okay to yell at the house of angry, but we have to make sure progress comes home at the end of the night. 8. What is the next step? How do we help them? How do I help them? How do I keep them safe? How do I build textbook fences around them to make sure their names are not added to this list? How do I let them know the teachers will never need a gun or a badge to serve and protect? Thanks.
Score for that point was 26.7. Start of the second round. We're gonna have give her a warm welcome, Alicia White.
A true story of my love affair with Prince Rogers Nelson.
Yes.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today as a figment of my hopeful imagination. The first time I saw him up close and purple, I was about 13 years old. I dreamt he sat in a dimly lit room smothered in 1980s music video smoke and the beats to his own soundtrack. There were women and feather dusters. They tickled his toes, and when he spoke to me, the only sound that came out was that of Keith Sweat. It was a horrific dream. No offense, Mr. Sweat. I know you have this deep vibrato thing going on, but you and I both know that you cannot carry a soprano sexy enough to make me strip off all my leather and leap into an unidentified body of water. I would Lake Minnetonka for him. I would move to Los Angeles just to be accepted in black boots year-round for him. I would darling his Nikki. I would come up with a meaning for that last line for him. On my short list of things I would not do for Prince. Perm my hair, but he has unpermed his. Did you go natural for me, baby? The first time I had awkward sex, it was an attempt to reenact his bedroom scene with Apollonia. In my eyes, it was sort of an intimate miming. In my mind, I take on the role of Prince himself. In my lover's confusion, I was the only one role playing. It was the shortest relationship and some of the best sex I've ever had. I picture our wedding day. Without a heel touching the floor, Prince glides down the aisle. My boyfriend is his best man. Prince daps him up, spins to me. I unlift his veil, and a thin tear of mascara twinkles down his right cheek. We do not exchange vows. We silently throw up symbols of I would die for you. We do traditional things. Jump the broom, throw rice. We do traditional things. Jump the broom, throw rice, release 1,000 birds, and Prince says softly, Listen, this is what it sounds like when doves cry. He is such a perfect little fairy god, sent from the heavens to awaken inspiration and unbiased orgasms. Yes, Prince's orgasmic delivery is unbiased, so he is multi-arousal deliverable, multi-gifted, multi-risk taker, risk it all, honey. The certainty of your strut, your split strut, baby. Be the Jimi Hendrix in you, be student, be teacher. Let's honeymoon our lives away. And you teach me about the magnetism in these hands. Tell me, my voice is an ocean of violence. I want to know what it feels like to bloom, to have the stage salute you. Tell me, or don't tell me at all. Remain a secret I yearn to break, a vinyl leaning against my living room wall. Besides, I will grow old, and you will always look the exact age you've looked since 1950. My name is Wise. I am an owl. Your name is Prince. You are a dove. Perhaps we could just hang out on the weekends.
That is a 28.7. Next up, we have, please clap, Jasmine Williams.
You want to know what the rainbow tastes like? Tastes red, metallic. Blood on concrete tastes orange like strange fruit still hanging from Florida's roots tastes yellow. Screaming sour sounds taste purple. Bruised and wounded tastes blue, salty. A mother's tear fell into the Atlantic when her sky disappeared tastes green like tea, sweet. Arizona stuffed into a can tastes black like the skin, like hoodies, like hoods, like ghettos, like innocent little black boys, like a neighborhood watch always searching for his pot of gold, and you found that pot of gold now, didn't you? You, racist, are the reason that we are still shackled in reverse. You, Cyclops, only see with one eye, no peripheral vision, just blindside. You, sharpshooters, you shake and quake the earth until we are still stuck, still shackled in reverse on this island. Sharks walk on land. Snitches are buried alive in the sand, and Sam is still forcing Jim to call him uncle because crows are often black, fly in flocks and are constant targets aiming at themselves. We're born to perish, so we walk and we march with the trimmings of our ancestors' bones tied to our palms with barbed wire, screaming, don't shoot. We speak to one another in black codes because it was our first language. We need a way off this island, be it bullet or boat, train or trigger. All it takes is one shot, all it takes is one rock, one island, one plate, one movement, one shake like black island tectonics. We're itching to crash like boulders in an avalanche. We are refugees, exiled in our own islands, complacent with neutral, always stuck in reverse, just waiting for someone to put us in drive so we can finally move forward.
That score is a 26.9. And moving along, next up we have Succinct.
The letter I never wrote to the apologetic molester that failed at apologizing to me. I think about the last holiday I spent at home. I think about how you hugged me like sister, like little cousin, like little girl. Wonder if you still remember the little girl didn't miss you as much as my hug said I had that hug. Heavy and sopping with guilt and love and family and commitment. My mother would later reflect and purge her sorrows over that hug. If you're wondering, no, it didn't last too long. I was 14, her name is not important. She asked me why she couldn't touch me there, asked me why I cringed when she kissed my belly. I was 21, her name is not important. She asked the same question again when I was 25, again when I was 28. They've all asked who laid their claim to the most soft, most vulnerable part of me, and I brushed them off like flies in the summertime heat. Tell them sometimes our scars still bleed, sometimes it's still tender, sometimes I hate to remember I shared bed and blood with you, cousin. Did you know I'd grow into an adult, would be repulsed by any man who looked my direction? Did you mean to claim my body as your dominion? Did you know I'd let them in? Did you know I'd let them use me? Did you know I remember how you bribed me to stay silent, that I would remember the look on your face? If you're wondering, no, it didn't last too long. The pain never lasts too long. It only reels in snippets. The day you picked up your phone and dialed my mother, did you know I had just finished making her smile? Did you know how proud of me she was? When you hung up, did you feel accomplished? I hope you fucking felt accomplished the way only a coward knows accomplishment. Have you gotten tired of failing? Are you tired of failing yet? In case you're wondering, no, I'm not angry. No, the anger never lasts too long, like your hugs, like too much time spent in the basement, like lessons, like candy, like all the other shit no 14-year-old girl or boy should be trying out with a little girl with his favorite cousin, his favorite. I was always your favorite, and my mother wretched, and my sister called me in a panic because your cowardice drove your fingers to dial and to violate me one more time, and your mouth had the audacity to tell what I had been hiding behind my smile and family get-together hugs for 20 years. How dare you drum my secrets and feel released? This was not your dance. My belly not your free land, my peace not your peace. Your apologies are as unforgiving as the parts of me I can never give away, and now my mother feels more failure in her bones than motherhood. My sister wields a battle axe to anyone trying to love me, and I'm trying to love myself. I'm still out here trying to love me and forgive you. I'm sure this will not last too long. I'm sure your apology was just as fickle and weak as your intention. I'm sure silence would have cut the sorry as swiftly as the dial tone sliced the receiver. When you look at your daughter's face, I hope there is more apology in your hug than there will ever be in your mouth. I hope that hug lasts as long as you can hold your truth.
That score is a 28.5. Next up, the penultimate poet of the round, we have Kelly Grace Thomas.
This is called The Mad Men Are Making Me Mad. Dear advertisers, you silent killers of capitalistic crusade, are you happy with all the insecure soldiers that you've made? Girls march towards a size 0 finish line, dancing with their cancer, and this confidence decline. Men collect technology, beer can, bikini model dreams, chasing some ideal that was built upon your schemes. Advertisers, I thought you wouldn't get to me. I put up such a fight, but after too much Chardonnay, your slogans spent the night. Your commercials were contagious. They whispered in my ear the smell of your outrageous, everything I wanted to hear. You see, we are the target and mark of this rolling tide that washes the waves of this old Navy ship. Guided by a sea breeze, pseudo-snuggle, trying to steer our soul craft adrift. Hoping to feel total complete on the Whole Foods relief that maybe this last Excedrin will dispense some relief. Buyer's remorse of a kiss not beginning with K. You see, if we buy enough, maybe we'll be happy one day. Where we honor this Barbie promise to make a pact men for this Call of Duty, become a cover girl, American Idol beauty, the lies that lay in the Krispy Kreme tic-tac-toe of HBO. Don't ignore the resident evil in this undertow. I am cool to the aid that sometime in the Milky Way galaxy we will smell the Starbucks and wake up to this fallacy. Is it possible that these discounted dreams of social living, that this brand bandwagon Groupon has somehow managed to get it all wrong? We have eaten the BlackBerry of Victoria's Secrets down the subway streets of a Nickelodeon night, sold Dior and Gucci promise of a Forever 21 sold to the Best Buy in this lethal Amazon. A burger makes you king? A flurry the queen of dairy? Don't follow that rocky road that's been paved by Ben and Jerry. So advertisers, no matter how many TVs I have to turn off, or magazine pages I have to flip, my soul, my wallet, my self-esteem is no longer your bargaining chip. So the next time you want to tell a little girl how to be pretty, think first of what you're implying. She was born beautiful and amazing, so don't fucking tell her to keep trying. But if we label ourselves a victim, that means you have the power. Don't think I can't see your enemy forces moving closer with every hour. I will load my gun with literature, point arrows of philosophy. For each weapon of education I fire, begging ourselves to be free from this brand-marked hell, free from all those lies and addictions you sell. So the next time you want to convince me what kind of products I should buy, you can save your breath, madmen. I don't pay for lies.
That score is 25.8. I'm sure you guys can hear it as well as I can. I'll just say it again. All right, the last poet before the third round. Give it up for Nikki Black.
As a child, I was obsessed with sex. More specifically, I was obsessed with the act of reproduction, the idea of a new person starting from scratch, suddenly existing when it never had before, living inside its mother, being born, being named, being a person that would eventually make more people. It was the only magic I ever believed in. As a child, I was obsessed with death. All the ways it could happen, the diseases, the injuries, the details, the many processes by which a body would shut down, how the breath would leave, how a person, fully functioning, would suddenly stop existing. I was bewitched by the thought of it. My sister made 4 people. One of them was murdered. That was the only nephew I will ever have. Sometimes I think about when he was a baby, how holding him made me feel important, how caring for him made me feel wise and full of love, how watching him grow up made me feel like a complete person. Sometimes I think about him in his coffin. I think about how he will never visit my home again. I think about his eyes. I wonder if he still has them. Wonder if they stayed gray. I consult Google to learn how long irises maintain their pigment after death. I find no answers on the internet. It makes me wonder if I'm the only person with such a worry. Causes me to think it's a stupid thing to think about. It makes me feel crazy. I think about him decomposing and it makes me feel helpless. I think about him gone and it makes me feel like maybe I'm the one that died. Perhaps we are pretending that there can be any kind of life after such a loss. There is grief in everything I do. I can barely move without stirring a memory. Can't wake up all the way without his face on my mind. I have learned that mourning does not end after kind words and condolences have worn themselves out. After memorializing a murder date another year. After commemorating another birthday with no guest of honor in attendance. After no arrests have been made. I wonder how we will get over it. I know that we will make it for lack of any other options. I want to know what that will look like. Will it announce itself before it shows up? Will I know it the instant it happens? I suppose, I imagine, it may be sort of quiet like conception, like death, an old thing slipping away, a new thing suddenly taking its place, something existing where it never did before.
28.1, sorry.
28.1 for that point. Give it up for the point. Are you guys ready to start the third round?
Yeah!
Last round, guys. I'm gonna miss you guys in a minute. All right, so coming to the stage, please give it up for Alicia Wilde.
So I love Kanye West.
Yeah.
Me too.
I do. But when I heard that song, I Am a God, the confusion, Kanye, the confusion of all of the world trying to convince you that you are not. I mean, how dare a black man have a God complex? How dare him use the exact words, I am a God, even though I'm a man of God, and not be thrown stones, not be reminded that he is merely cargo, rescued, taught to pray to a new direction, where they package Yeshua and a Da Vinci and make the brown boys prepare supper. Look how they paint them glory. Look how they package holy in Hollywood. Rarely is it a face like yours, boy, like you ain't Olaroon, like you ain't Babalu Waye, like you ain't Oduduwai, like you ain't Olokun. What you know about Ishu? You just Kanye, you just black, you just broken, you just borrowed. Child, why won't you remember? Why won't you forget that your black matters, that you are black matter, that you are alpha, that you are sky soil, that you are rich where you come from, that you actually do have the answers, Kanye. But it ain't Ralph though. That when you say, I am, ain't nothing wrong with your lyrics, God. They have always been ours. You have just forgotten how to remember.
That was 27.8 for that poll. Give her around again. Up next, our penultimate poet of the 90s.
No more.
Give it up for Succinct.
A poem for YouTube and meme makers. I wish it were easier to swallow the lump. to dress the unfortunate in something more tasteful, to look the jackal in the face, to tell the YouTube DJs and medias I was not born to be your sideshow, that my grandfather was a working man, that poor black folks with southern draws that like fried chicken that want to say Jesus is a fire with good intentions are more than niggas on your memes. I wish it were easier to look those black boys and girls in the face, to tell them to wake up, but they are too busy twerking and shuffling. Ain't it eerie? But you share and you laugh and you Instagram and you tumble in complacency and you don't move. You stand there listless as though your feet were permanently cemented to the bottom of the Atlantic. Stuck between your childhood and dreams, you are a walking demographic. Your chest a boasting call to freedom from proverbial nooses and Molotov cocktails so they cloak you. Provide you bullets to see you bleed red. Rob you of air until you hit cold blue and convince you to hustle white so you can get a piece of this green. But this ain't no 40 acres and you have become a mule stuck in this American dream. You are more than just a commodity. Don't believe the hype when the hype stands to profit from your spirit and your gifts are transformed from bowls of gold to old slave sold. The world would have you believe that writing empty rhymes and dancing on top those remnants of the ancestry's heartbeats will make you rich. So it's okay to repeat daddy stories and die trying. Sell your soul for hits, likes, and clicks. Hell, YouTube has more minstrel shows than 1920. I'm surprised that they have not photoshopped us Mantan and Nipsey. I have not commented us watermelon and fried chicken. You are more than auto-tune. Do better, know better. It's not funny to me. It's sad. The liberation comes at the cost of teen bad bitch, teen grown woman, teen not doing shit because you ain't about shit. Believing a bad taste on the tongues of those who work too damn hard for fools to be made out of us. Do not let one make $1 and a fool out of you. Don't let no one buy you out of your dignity. It is the only clothing you die with, and the only garment we will remember you wearing.
What? 27.8 for that poet. All right. So, last poet of the slam. Welcome up, Jasmine Williams.
He said, "Come on, man, stop being such a pussy." Correction, my pussy ain't never scared. It is not coward, it is gangster. It is a survivor, a force to be reckoned with. Will swallow you whole, force you back into embryo, back into fetal, have you all cradle and thumb sucking, and won't give you back to earth until you are proving yourself worthy to speak her name. He said, "So, when you gonna let me hit?" Correction, I am not a batting cage. Not up for grabs, not a main attraction. There will be no free skeets or joyrides here. Oh! It is not an empty space or a dark hole. You will find no middle of nowhere here. It is never-ending universe and galaxy, a remarkable creation, in-depth, deep, and witty. She is famous, a celebrity, a rapper's delight. She is always in the tip of their tongue and their lyrics on their mind. What can I say? She's tight. Tender, warm, sweet, spring jubilee. The heat that melts the ice reminds you of homecoming, and despite what you say, this pussy is not yours. Well, maybe sometimes. But you don't own her. She can be stubborn, resilient, won't submit, will not come just because you tell her to. She will give you a hard time. She will not call you daddy, because even in his absence, she has never looked for her father or any one of her lovers and won't begin with you. Hello. Those are reserved for women lonely, who know of nothing but late-night messages and promises to comfort fools, and currency left on nightstands and feeling cheap and lost and unworthy, and bargaining her soul into believing that he's hers to keep and that he will love her in the morning. My pussy knows better, knows sacrifice, knows what it feels like to be prey, is too often made victim, held captive, made a refugee, knows of genital mutilation, of cold, cruel cuts, knows of fist and violent thrusts, knows of a 16-year-old girl in the backseat of Ohio. A football player's fingers still tripping without consent by a quarterback, not worth a cent in a filthy cup of change, knows of being wide received, then recorded and posted for the world to see. Didn't I tell you she's a celebrity? Click, click to become a fan and follow. She knows of early morning trains leaving just before dawn, of a conductor inviting passengers along for the ride to collide with her soul. Already dark, already dead cargo. My pussy has been at war. Armageddon. Knows factory, knows broad burning and suffrage and human trafficking, knows Holocaust and slavery, knows adversity, knows childbirthing, knows a splitting and reopening, and every month survives a miserable suicide. You wanna know why I be all up in my feelings? My pussy is more than just a piece of meat. It is sacred, a part of holy grounds. Boy, this flesh should be a temple, and you are not welcome to worship here.
Just a 28. I was waiting for a decimal. Did not. We are going to tally up all the scores, and we'll deliver them in just a moment. But while we're doing that, we're going to keep entertaining you. So please, welcome to the stage one of my favorite people, Chess.
A series of of questions to Republican Representative Jack Kingston of Savannah, Georgia, who told a group of elementary school students who are on the federal lunch program that they ought to have to sweep the floors for their food in order to learn that nothing is free.
Oh.
Have you ever whispered to God at the checkout line, praying your card is gracious enough to let this transaction go through? No.
Come on now.
Well, have you ever had to put food back? Make a decision on whether or not to buy the milk or the meat, the canned fruit or the discounted cheese. Have you ever deciphered the meaning of each rumble in your stomach? Do you dance to the rhythm of the drum inside your belly in defiance or despair? Have you ever come across your long-lost twin in the welfare line, the WIC office, stared into your own eyes in the TANF department? See, we, needy families, know how to spot one another, have developed our own coded language. If you listen, you can still hear the Underground Railroad in our speech. Have you ever considered that this free lunch might be our only meal of the day? How we must dread weekends. Do we panhandle? Sell whatever we have of value, including ourselves. No matter our NBA height, how little we must fill. If we ask for this. For those of us who weren't born with silver spoons in our mouths, do you suggest we starve? Hang our withering bodies in art museums and label the exhibit pride?
Yeah.
Do you know how poverty tastes? It is gasping for air to no avail. It is calling 911 for help, and because of your zip code, receiving voicemail. It is like picking the cotton ball from aspirin bottles. We are reminded daily that even pain relief comes at a cost. And suppose we pick up the broom and you pick up the tab. Should we just sweep slavery under the rug and call it even? We are clear that nothing is free. The fantastic voyage we took across the Atlantic wasn't free. Fire hoses and police canines weren't free. Building this bitch on our back wasn't free. Surely nooses must have cost somebody something. To Republican Representative Jack Kingston of Savannah, Georgia, who told a group of elementary school students who are on the federal lunch program that they ought to have to sweep the floors for their food in order to learn that nothing is free. You hand me that broomstick and watch me make it disappear.
Please give it up for all of your poets tonight. All right, so in third place with a score of 83.2, we have Jasmine Williams. In second place with a score of 83.5, we have Succinct.